The movie begins with a huge plane flying high above the sea. The weather's nasty outside. Inside the plane, there's a girl with a machine gun. Suddenly, a wild storm throws the plane off balance, and it loses control. Moments later, the plane crashes into the ocean. Then, the movie jumps to the present. We're on a beautiful island shore. Some folks are scuba diving. That's where we meet Jerry, a scuba instructor. When he surfaces, his boss scolds him for taking too long. Jer gets mad and shoves him into the water. Next, we see Sam, Jer's girlfriend. She's a tour guide, giving info to tourists, checking out the city. When Sam's done with work, where she lives with Jer's bailing water out of his boat. They're pretty broke right now. Sam comes to see Jer. He's gonna hunt for a hidden treasure in the ocean. Turns out, during the last storm, a diver found an old gold artifact underwater and got rich. Jerry's hoping for something similar this time. Suddenly, while bailing water, Jerry gets hurt. Sam rushes over, smiling, and tells him she's happy with him even if they're broke, even on a rusty old scooter. Just then, a luxury yacht cruises by, and a guy on it shouts Jer's name. Sam points out his fancy boat. The guy, George, smiles and says he's been taking his boat into deep water since that storm, hoping to find treasure. He asks if Jerry's free and wants to work for him. Jerry thinks it over. Then he agrees, but with conditions. A contract, and they split whatever they find 50-50. George doesn't like Jer's terms, so he takes his boat and leaves. A bit later, Sam and Jer are driving. Jer tells Sam he can't be anyone's slave again. He worked hard for George before, but George just got richer while Jerry stayed stuck. He doesn't like George's methods. Sam smiles and says she doesn't care if he works for George or not. She's happy with him just the way he is. The next day, we meet new characters. Derek and his girlfriend Amanda. They're visiting the same island. Derek and Jer are childhood friends, and they're stoked to see each other after so long. Derek, Jer, Sam, and Amanda head out to explore. Derek shows them a fancy house. He explains he helped a criminal client get out of jail. In return, the client let him stay in this beachfront house for a few days. And get this, the house came with a private boat. Jer's eyes light up. This was exactly what he needed to search for treasure in the deep ocean. After that, the four of them take the boat out to sea. Blue water, open sky, and a real sense of freedom. They stop in deep water, put on their scuba gear, and dive in. Underwater, everyone's messing around and playing. Then Jerry's watch slips off his wrist and drifts down into the deep. He tells Sam to give him his mask and flippers. His watch fell, and he's going to get it. Jerry dives back in without a second thought. He swims deep, searching for his watch, and then his hand hits a heavy, black stone. He grabs the stone and heads back up. On the boat, he shows everyone the stone and says it isn't just any old rock. Back in the day, they used these as markers. This could be a part of some big treasure. He tells everyone to dive back down, thinking there might be more hidden down there. So Jer, Sam, Derek, and Amanda all dive back into the ocean. Down below, they find some broken artifacts. They start bringing them up to the boat one by one. Then Jer spots an old dagger. The sheath is gold, and the handle is studded with sparkling diamonds. He brings the dagger up and says this isn't just a dagger. It's made of gold, and it could be worth a ton. Now everyone's super interested. They dive back into the ocean, and Jer spots a wrecked airplane underwater. It's the same plane that crashed during the storm at the beginning of the story. The four of them swim towards the plane. Amanda peeks inside and sees a dead body. Its face is totally messed up from the water and time. She gets freaked out and immediately heads back to the boat. Meanwhile, Jer, Derek, and Sam go inside the plane. They see some red packets. Derek tears one open, and some powder comes out. Turns out it's not powder, it's cocaine, and the whole plane is packed with it. Derek grabs one of the packets and goes back to the boat. A little later, Sam sees the packet. She grabs it and starts to throw it into the ocean. Derek tries to stop her. Jer arrives, doesn't say a word, pulls out the gold dagger, cuts open the packet, and dumps all the cocaine into the ocean. That night, Derek asks Jerry if he thinks there could really be treasure hidden underwater. Sam replies that big storms often bring stuff with them, sometimes even treasure. Jerry, Sam, Derek, and the others are discussing the mysterious stuff they found under the plane. Jer says that a few days ago, there was a terrible hurricane here, and those kinds of storms often shake up the seafloor. The mud moves and hidden secrets get uncovered. Sometimes the ocean even carries things far away. Sam tells everyone that according to the law here, if you find treasure or old artifacts, you have to file a legal claim. Then they talk about the plane where they found a body. Derek quickly blurts out that the plane wasn't a mission reach. Those guys were direct dealers. He adds they shouldn't tell anyone about that plane yet. Then Sam expresses concern. She says it won't be easy to go back to that spot, and to clear all that wreckage, they'll need proper equipment and a strong boat. Jer thinks and says Derek knows a guy named Basil who can help with funding. They just need to explain it to him right. Everyone's ready for the mission, but they decide not to tell anyone else until the time is right, and not to go near that plane again. They all go to a marine supply dealer to buy a good boat and the necessary equipment. The shopkeeper shows them the whole setup and names a a price of $30. Everyone's faces drop. Derek explains he lost everything on his last mission, and now he's broke. The next day, with whatever money they scrape together, they buy a few things and head back to the site. Jer and Derek are underwater, trying to clear the wreckage. Meanwhile, Amanda secretly goes back inside the plane. This time, she goes even deeper, and then a dangerous situation pops up. Her oxygen cylinder hose gets cut somewhere. On the other side, Jer and Derek are pulling things out of the wreckage and putting them on the boat. Then Jer asks Derek where Amanda is. Derek is shocked, saying he thought she was with Jer. This makes Jer alert. He figures Amanda probably snuck into that plane again. He immediately grabs an oxygen cylinder and swims quickly towards the plane. In a corner of the plane where it wasn't filled with water, he finds Amanda, gasping for air. Jer asks frantically what she's doing here. Amanda makes an excuse, saying she came looking for him when she didn't see him around. But Jer sees right through her lie. He takes Amanda back to the boat without saying a word. Now everyone stops the day's mission and heads back to the island. All the stuff Jer and his team collected from under the ocean is now being cleaned one by one with chemical treatment. As soon as one item came out of the chemical bath, everyone's eyes locked on it. It was a weird-looking gun, ancient looking. A word was etched on it. Amanda looks closely and says the word is in Roman. Derek, a bit surprised, asks if it's the wreckage of a Roman ship. Jer starts thinking deeply about the word's meaning and says it looks connected to a looter, maybe a pirate. Just then, the team finds another item, a silver bell, very old looking. A map was etched on it, and surprisingly, that map was of the exact spot where they were standing. Now the mystery was deepening. Then Sam reads a passage from a book. It mentions Silver 4920 and a dangerous pirate named Delmas Thomas. Sam reads that he started as a slave, but became the most dangerous pirate of the sea. Derek smiles, asking if they've found a clue to that pirate's treasure. Jer gets serious and says he doesn't think this is just a pirate story. This might be the story of a French merchant named Ashfaq. He continues that the man was very rich. When war broke out, he loaded all his wealth and jewels into a ship and tried to escape. But then Delmas Thomas attacked him. Hearing this story, everyone's eyes gleam. Derek excitedly asks how much that treasure would be worth today. Jer replies thousands of millions of dollars. He adds that if they find it, all their lives will change forever. Now everyone's even more hyped up about the treasure, but the next morning things change a bit. Jer stops Amanda from diving again. After that, everyone heads back into the depths of the ocean with metal detectors and starts scanning everywhere. And then the machine beeps with a slight vibration. Maybe the real door to the treasure was about to open. Underwater, the four of them are busy removing the sand from that spot with machines. Above on the boat, Amanda is alone. She's noting the location on a map, every detail, every point, with great care. Meanwhile, underwater, Jer and Derek find a huge old cannon. It looks like it's part of the ship they're searching for. But the cannon is so heavy that they have to plan to tie it with ropes and bring it to the surface. On the boat, Amanda sees a Coast Guard police boat approaching them from a distance. Underwater, Sam also spots the danger. Tension appears on everyone's faces because if the police saw them illegally taking things from the sea, everything could be seized. Jer, Derek, and Sam stay put underwater, waiting for the police to leave. But then another problem arises. Jer's watch starts beeping. This signals that his oxygen cylinder is running out. They have no choice left. They have to leave that heavy cannon down there. As they release the air from the buoyancy bags, Derek's hands suddenly get stuck under the cannon, and he starts falling to the deep seabed with it. The cannon crashes hard on the seafloor, trapping Derek's hand underneath. Meanwhile, the police are searching their boat. Amanda sits quietly so no one suspects them. Underwater, oxygen is running out, and it's impossible to lift the heavy cannon. Then Sam and Jerry put all their strength into it, and with great difficulty manage to free Derek's hand from under the cannon. They barely make it back to the boat. Everyone's exhausted but alive. When the police find nothing on the boat, they leave. That same night, the four of them are enjoying themselves at a nightclub. Lights, music, and a dancing crowd everywhere. Amanda's grooving freely on the dance floor. But then Jer's old friend comes up and warns him that some strangers were asking about him. They're not from this island, and something's up. In the middle of this, Derek gets into a fight with some local thug in the club, but Jer pulls Derek out of there and tells him they don't need any trouble right now. He reminds him they're looking for treasure. The next morning, the team puts on their diving gear and goes back into the water. But as they go down, they see another unfamiliar boat docked next to theirs. Jer and Derek look at each other. It's clear now that someone's following them, and the game just got a whole lot more dangerous. After returning from the depths of the ocean, the team suddenly realizes two strangers have boarded their boat. Jer and Derek waste no time and go after them. A fierce fight breaks out. Water, shouts, and a terrifying confrontation. But eventually, both intruders give up and flee in their boat. As one of them runs, a badge falls out of his pocket. When Jer picks it up and sees the name, his face changes. Jer takes the badge to George and says this name looks like one of George's old guys. George smiles and says lots of people quit his company. He doesn't remember everyone's name. Then he stares at Jer and says he's got money and time, asking Jer what he has besides just this dream. He finishes talking and leaves. In the evening, the team gets back to planning. Jer anxiously says they don't have good equipment or the right script. They won't find the treasure like this. Then Derek speaks up, suggesting they have those cocaine packets from the plane. They can sell them and buy equipment. He warns that if they delay, George's people will claim the treasure, and maybe Sam will leave Jer too because he has no money, no power. But Jer doesn't agree with this. Then, that night, Derek quietly goes to Amanda's room and explains everything to her. That same night, Amanda and Derek go to the site. Derek dives into the water again and retrieves the cocaine packets from the plane's wreckage. The next day, Derek goes straight to meet the nightclub owner, that dangerous local gangster, Prem, the one he'd had a run-in with before. Sometime later, Jer gets a call. Derek asks him to meet. As Jer arrives at the boat, Derek, Amanda, and Prem are already there with their men. Prem is furious, asking who dared to steal his stuff and bring it back to him when he's the boss of this island. He places a bag in front of Derek. It contains the cocaine taken from the plane. Jer looks at the bag and realizes it's the same plane they all got involved with. Now the situation is much deeper than just treasure. Prem tells Jer he doesn't care where he got this. He just wants his stuff back, or things won't end well. Jer tries to explain they just found these few packets, but Prem isn't in the mood to listen. He pulls out a gun and points it at Jer's face. This isn't just a treasure hunt anymore. Now it's a matter of life and death. As Prem's gun is pointed at Jer's face, Jer speaks up, saying they don't have everything Prem thinks. No technology, no weapons, no equipment. After that, Prem says it'll cost $3,000 to shut Jer up. Hearing this, Prem gives him a lot of money. But as he leaves, Prem gives a dangerous threat. He says if his stuff doesn't come back, he'll kill the person closest to Jerry. His man drops the three of them back on the island. As they return, Jer is furious. Meanwhile, when Sam finds out Jer is involved in some drug deal, she clearly states she's not with him anymore. On the other side, Prem uses his money to get a high-tech boat and top-class equipment ready. Jer doesn't give up either. He uses equipment attached to the back of the boat to blast strong currents into the ocean depths. The sand starts to clear, and finally, the actual ship wreckage appears. Now the real search begins. Jer, Derek, and Sam all team up to find the treasure. They find an old bell with SS Aura written on it. They now have proof that this is the ship they were looking for. They can now legally file their claim on this treasure, but the treasure wasn't just gold and silver. Jer prepares to dispose of the cocaine packets taken from that plane. They tie them all to a rope and hang them deep underwater. Everything's going according to plan. But then a deadly attack happens. Jer, who's on the boat, hears a sound from underwater. He immediately jumps into the water. When he gets down, he sees a shark has attacked Amanda. Jer immediately takes Amanda up to the boat, but it's too late. Amanda has stopped breathing. Derek is heartbroken. In the next scene, Jer and Derek take Amanda to the hospital, but the doctor tells them she's already dead. Just then, Sam comes to see Jer. After that, Jer gets a call on his phone. It's Prem, the nightclub owner. Prem asks if they brought the packets. Jer angrily replies they had an accident and a friend of theirs died. Hearing this, Prem gets out of his car and starts moving towards him. Jer quickly starts his car and speeds away. Now another chase begins. Prem and his men constantly chase Jer's car. A little further down, he stops the car and tells Derek to drop Sam at home. He then stands on the road and waits. In the meantime, Jerry meets Finn, who is Prem's man, but this time, Jerry has a plan. He takes him to a secret place where he'd hidden the gold dagger, the old bell. Jerry tells Finn all this is 10 times more valuable than Prem's cocaine. He offers to give it all to him on one condition. Finn works with Jerry now. Finn really likes the gold dagger, and he shakes Jerry's hand. When Finn takes Jerry to his boss, they're surprised because several people have already been killed on the boat. Now Finn and Jerry go to the lower part of the boat, but then a gunshot rings out. Someone shoots their men one by one. Seeing all this, Jerry is completely shocked. Then George comes out of the bathroom. His hands are bloody, and he looks at Jerry and says he already met Jerry's partner Prem. He adds Prem wanted to double-cross him, so he had no choice but to kill everyone. And he tries to kill Jerry too, but Jerry cleverly escapes and jumps into the ocean. George orders his man to find Jerry, dead or alive, but Jerry had already made a plan. He hides in the lower part of the boat and, finding an opportunity, evades everyone and goes straight to Derek and asks where Sam is. Derek replies he dropped her off at the police officer's house, but he doesn't know where she went after that. That evening, Jerry gets another call on his phone, but someone else answers. George. Now the whole truth comes out. The police officer was also in league with George, and he had handed Sam directly over to George. George now threatens Jer, telling him he needs the location of that plane with the drugs, or Sam dies. Jer has very little time left. He tells George directly that if he wants that cocaine, he'll have to meet Jer at the spot Jer tells follows him. George has no choice because he knows Jer is the only one who can lead him to the stolen goods now. But then the police officer tells George his job's done and he'll kill Sam himself. Hearing this, George loses his temper and attacks the police officer, killing him right there. On the other side, Jer sets off alone towards the location George told him, hoping Sam is still alive. When he gets there, his eyes pop out. Sam is tied to the ground, and right next to her is the police officer's dead body. George now blackmails Jerry one last time. He tells Jer if he wants to see Sam alive, to take him to that plane. Jer explains he has a deal. He tells George to let Sam go, and he'll give him the entire ship's treasure. They take the boat and head towards that site. As soon as they arrive, Jer jumps into the water. George immediately grabs his water gun and jumps in with his men. Underwater, George finds the old bell Jer told him about. Now he's completely convinced the treasure is hidden right there. Meanwhile, Sam is still tied by the police officer's hand. She drags his dead body towards a knife and frees herself. Now it's time to get out. George's other man is on guard on the boat. Then a motorboat arrives. It distracts him, leading him into the water. Meanwhile, inside the plane, George's other man comes looking for Jer. Jer and Derek bolt, but then the guy shoots an arrow and it nails Derek. The arrow's got a rope attached, and the guy starts pulling Derek towards him, but Jer ain't having it. He fires another arrow, hitting the guy right in the face. As blood starts pouring, the ocean sharks tear into him, and that's the end of him. Back with George, he's about to fire an arrow, but Jer cleverly turns an oxygen cylinder the other way. Just as George is about to shoot, Jer hits the cylinder's valve with something, and as the valve opens, the cylinder shoots towards George like a missile. The cylinder smashes right into the plane's fuel tank, and with a huge explosion, the whole plane blows up in a fireball. 6 weeks later, the ocean's calm, but the story ain't over. Jerry, Derek, Sam, and Danny are on a new mission. They head back to the location of the wreckage. As they start pulling up the cannon, the wire suddenly breaks, and due to the weight, the cannon falls back into the ocean's depths. As it falls, the boat crashes directly into the ship's wreckage. This impact breaks an old piece of wood, and inside, a glint of gold shines. Sam, Jer, and the rest of the team are overjoyed, and this powerful story ends right here. This entire movie ends here. Let me know in the comments how you liked the video. If you liked it, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. We'll see you in another video. Take care.